Hello and welcome back. I'm so excited you're here again, and I'm really excited to show you another tag project. Who knew that tags were going to be so much fun? So in our last video together, we did the metal tags using the UV resin. They're amazing. I used them on a project recently and I'm thrilled with them. But I realized that they're not the perfect solution for every project that we make. So today's tutorial, we're going to be making these faux leather tags. These can be put in place by using rivets, or you can stitch them in place. So to make this project, we need a computer or a phone, something that we can kind of arrange our logo on, an inkjet printer, and the faux suede sheets from Cricut. It's the only thing Cricut involved in this project is the material. You can get that at Joann or Michael's or Hobby Lobby or online. You need masking tape, paper, something to cut them with, and that's it for the easiest version, and you'll be in and out in under an hour. If you want to make them 2-ply and make them a bit more substantial, here is like a 1-ply, so it kind of curls up on itself. This version I have stuck in water a few times, so don't worry, they're water resistant and they won't smear after you seal them. But they do kind of, they're thin, they kind of curl up like this. Once you stitch them in place, it shouldn't be a problem. So you can be in and out in an hour. Now this version is a 2-ply. I've added some faux vinyl, or not faux vinyl. I've added vinyl. This is the marine vinyl from Joann. It was just a scrap piece that I had. And now they have some structure to them. Oops, dropped them. Thank goodness that they're not breakable. But anyway, so you can see from the edge that there's some kind of heft to them. Now, this is one that I purchased, and it looks amazing, but to tell you the truth, there's not much difference between these. I filmed the how-to portion last night when the lighting wasn't as good. I woke up this morning, took a fresh look at them, and I was like, oh, these are great. So I hope that you'll enjoy this tutorial. I'm going to stop talking and we're going to get right into it. So here we go. So I'm in Publisher, which is the program that I use to create these tags. I like Publisher because it is accessible, it's widely available, and it is not so complicated of a program that it's overwhelming or daunting. But it has enough, features that still allow you to create some amazing projects. I have sized these tags to keep a couple of things in mind. Number one, I want to make sure that the tag is large enough that my logo can be easily read. I want it to be small enough that it doesn't overshadow the project itself that I'm putting it on. I don't want it to be the key feature. I just want it to be an accent. And I want to get as many tags as possible on that sheet of faux suede that we're going to be sending through our printer. So I've gone ahead and I've organized this with those things in mind. I'm not going to show you how to do that in this tutorial because I want to kind of get to the method of it. If you need instructions, or if you would find a tutorial helpful on how I went and got to this phase of the project, please leave a comment down below and I can certainly do that as a separate tutorial. You can do this in Word and whatever options you have in Mac as well. I don't know the Mac platform, so unfortunately, I can't advise you on that. Some things that you want to also keep in mind is that you can create all kinds of colors and designs, and you can make these coordinate with your project. This is just a simple version that I wanted to create for demonstration purposes today. When you go in to print your file, you need to remember a couple of key things. Ideally, your print settings will be set to best rather than normal or draft. That puts more ink on the project. If you have the opportunity or the option to select your paper type, you'll want to use something like cardstock or photo matte paper, something that tells the printer it's not just regular copy paper coming through. Another thing is that sometimes in Publisher, for whatever reason, usually when I don't want it to, it will change this to a tiled option, which then splits my design on 2 pages. Instead, I want to always make sure that it's 1 page per sheet, and I would really recommend that you print a test page first. You'll see why in just a second, and then your faux suede sheet once you know that you have all the kinks ironed out. Okay, let's go into more of the making it in our next view. This is the product that we're going to be printing our tags onto. These are from Cricut. It's a variety pack. It comes with multiple colors, and I'll show those to you in just a second. And they're 12 by 12. So the first thing we have to do is cut them down to 8.5 by 11. Now, they're faux leather sheets. And not all of the colors that come in the pack are going to be suitable for our tags, but I want to get a close-up so that you can see the texture on these and the different colors. They really feel like suede, and the print on them is great. I'm really happy with these, and all of these so far would make excellent bag tags, and this red would be amazing, but the black won't work, so use the black on something different. These work great for leather tassels and earrings and bookmarks, all kinds of stuff. But for today, they're going to be tags. So let's go ahead and cut those down to 8.5 by 11 and get moving along with the project. Okay, so my, this, as I said, is a 12-inch long piece here. So I'm just using this little rotary cutter. See, test it, go back over it one more time. Okay, and this came off. This is still 12 inches, but that's okay. This is gonna just kind of hang out the back side of the printer. And then the reason why I don't want to cut it down to 11 is because I'm hoping that I can save as much as possible after this goes through the printer and get a larger piece to use for scrap, because I'm pretty much a hoarder when it comes to scrap materials. And I don't want to throw it away. It could be something someday, right? Why just throw it away? So that's what I'm going to do. All right, next phase is we need to put this onto a carrier sheet to go through our printer. The easiest way to do that is to grab some masking tape. And a piece of regular paper. I'm going to see if I can do this. Sorry, I just nudged the tripod. All right, so I'm just going to line this up here. When you are creating your file to, you know, your tag file, make sure that you have enough of a margin for your tape. You wouldn't want to have your printed image so close up here, nor your tape so far down here that it will print onto your tape, because nobody wants a tape tag. All right, flipping it over, get you in frame, flipping it over, applying the masking tape. I'm going to show you on camera, because this isn't going to, I'm going to kind of bring in this closer. This isn't good if you can see it. I don't know if you can see it or not, but this is not quite to the edge of the paper. This is sticking up too far, and that will screw up how this is pulled into the printer. We do want to have it all the way flat against here, so I'm going to pause you. I'm going to fix this and take away that extra little lip, because that is going to cause us trouble if we don't get rid of that. Okay, so I went back through, I cleaned it up, and now I have this nice solid leader edge to go into my inkjet printer. Let's send it through. Okay, so I've put it face down in the inkjet printer. I've made sure that in Publisher it's printing one page per sheet and not tiled. I would encourage you, before you throw your nice leather material through here the first time, that you, whoops, let's see. Okay, so we're just going to show what happened here. I'm not going to edit this out. I'm going to show you the problem. The problem is that it caused a static cling, and it took this second piece of paper with me. And so, lesson learned. And also, look at that. It was too far up on there. So for all of my big talk about hoarding material and not wasting it, I just wasted this piece. But I hope I didn't waste it, because I showed you something that's helpful. So let's take out the extra paper in here so that there isn't anything to cling to. Let's put this down again, and all the way up against that that kind of gate that's at the back of the printer, and let's tell the computer to send it through one more time. Okay, so I've gone ahead and sealed the ones that we just printed out, and it takes just a moment for the spray paint to dry, and they're still looking amazing. Because I used the matte or the satin clear spray paint, there isn't even a sheen, so it doesn't show up. This is the spray paint that I prefer. I just always have really good results with this. And now it's time to kind of put the concept to the test. I previously had done these two versions in a very handy way of showing you which one is sealed and which one isn't. And this one, I'm going to just go ahead and put it in the water, both of them. And if you have it in the water and you're rubbing your hands around it, even the unsealed one or the not sealed doesn't smear. But if it's kind of sitting here and it's about ready to dry, not quite all the way dry, and then you run your finger over it, it does smear a bit. I think you can maybe see that, I'm not sure. But now this one, I've done this one a few times, and it does not smear. It's perfect. So the ink does not come off of the one that is sealed. These are ready to go. You can cut them out and sew them on, or use rivets and attach them, or you could even glue them on, use heat and bond, that kind of a thing. But they are thin, and I think we could do a better job of getting close to the ones that I purchased, which are thicker. Okay, so to do that, we are going to layer this product here onto a sheet of vinyl that I have purchased already, and then we're going to edge paint it and see if we can't get them to look really close to these purchased versions. I mean, already they look pretty great. Okay, let's go to the next step. Okay, so this is a piece of marine vinyl from Joann, and it is lovely. It's nice. I think that it is combined with this is going to be a size that is going to give us a little bit of heft, but not so much bulk that we can't sew through it, because we have to remember that when we're sewing these, we're also sewing through the material that it's being adhered to. And if you're using a domestic machine, I want to make sure that these concepts I come up with are friendly for you as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply spray adhesive to the back of both of these pieces, and then join them and come back and show you what we've got. The reason why I'm doing it this way, so this is what it's going to look like when it's done, I just think that this looks nicer, and I don't know, for some reason, although I don't think that this is going to happen, if this were to like lift up or something when we're all done, the back side of this would look nice and would almost look like it was showing through here. And if you are thinking about making these to sell to somebody, then you would want it to have a nice pleasing appearance on both sides of the tag. So that's my thought, but you could certainly just use a scrap piece of material, apply your adhesive to this side, and then your tags would look like this. All right, be right back. I've gone ahead and applied the Loctite spray adhesive. I really like this product. It is repositionable as it's wet, but then when it dries permanent and gives a good bond. I did a pretty heavy coat onto this version that we painted, this material that we printed, and then a lighter coat to this, and such a light coat that it's not tacky right now when I'm touching this edge. I'm not worried about that this extended over here, because we're going to trim these down anyway. Once it was, kind of in the right spot, bonded together, I really went over it on both sides and pressed it well so that we could get some good contact and it wouldn't have any bubbles or ripples. And as you can see, it's looking pretty good. So the next step is to simply cut the labels out. Then again, you can be done, or we can make them even better by applying edge paint. So I'm going to go ahead and get these cut out, and then that will be our next step, applying the edge paint. Success. We have our first one all cut out, and it is amazing. Now the edge is okay, but I think it could be better, and I think that that edge coat step that we apply is going to really help us out here. On the one that I purchased, which is incredible, it has a really nice kind of edge color here. And this is what I'm trying to mimic. They're both very sturdy. This one, let's see, this one bends a little bit more easily than the version that we made, but I have no doubt that this is going to be just fine on even a domestic machine stitching this in place. If you don't want to stitch it in place, you can add little holes here with a hole punch and then just use rivets to attach it. Okay, let's go on to the edge painting next. I have my base coat material already in this little well, and I have applied, I've done it using this medicine dropper. This is exactly why you want to protect your work surface, especially if you are klutzy and messy like I am. So I'm simply going to take one of our tags, and I'm going to roll this here, and it has applied that perfectly to the edge of our tag. So I'm going to do it for all four sides, checking as I go just to make sure that the entire tag surface is covered. And miss this spot on the edge. Last one. I'm going to move this tag out of my way, this clip out of my way. Okay, perfect. So now I just want to take one of these clips, and I learned this trick from Lindsay, to prop the tag up so it can dry. It'll take just a little bit to dry. Read your instructions that come with the product. There's other products available that are less expensive than this, and they're available on Amazon. By all means, go ahead and try those out. And I'm going to go through and just do each of these, get a nice coat on them. When it's done drying, I believe I'm going to look at the instructions myself because this is new to me as well. I'm going to make sure that I understand them. I believe that what I need to do is sand in between coats, but I will double check and I will let you know what I find out when I do that. So I'm going to go through and apply all four sides, first coat. But before I do that, I want to show you what it would look like if you didn't have this little tool from Amazon. And if you remember, if you happen to watch my other video with the metal tags, my hands shake a lot, and so that's not the best when you're applying like fine detail work like this. Essentially, you get product on this metal applicator brush and you roll it on. This little well was cheaper than this, so I'm going to keep in mind. So this one gets on the back side a little bit more. But essentially you just roll it. It's not rocket science. It's better, it's crafty. So a nice thin coat will do it. Because we had kind of created a 2-ply product here, once we cut it, there really isn't kind of a gap between the layers. If there was, you know, kind of a little bit of an uneven space between these two, this edge coat would fill that in perfectly and give it a flush surface. That's one of the benefits of using this. So that's how you do it with the tool. All right, let's do a couple more coats and I'll be back at the end. I've gone ahead and let the 2 layers of base coat dry, and I've read the instructions or watched the tutorial on their website, and they said that it's only necessary to give a light sanding if the edges
after the base coat dries are not smooth. And for the majority of these, they were smooth. And so I'm not going to worry about, the sanding step. But I do want to show you how easy it is to apply the colors. So this is now dried. Okay, so I'm just going to simply roll this on here. There it goes. The corner didn't get it, so catch that corner. And it's just as easy as it was to do the base coat, applying the color. One more side. Okay, and there we go. There's our finished painted item. I don't think we're going to need 2 coats of paint, so this is done. I'm going to see, I don't know if you can see on camera, there's a few little pieces missing there. So I'm just going to roll it on the ball one more time. There, that's better. All right, so this is done. This is what it looks like without the edge coat and edge painting. I think that it's noticeably different, and I would encourage you to take that extra step. But I realize that not everybody has the resources or isn't willing to apply the resources on something experimental. So I'm going to go ahead and experiment further. Forgive the paint on my fingers. So this is one that I have cut. Where did I put it? This one here. So this one I cut, and I haven't done any of the edge coating at all. This is just simply cut from the 2 layers that I showed you a second ago. This is a Deco fabric paint pen, and we're going to see what happens when we apply this. So simply rubbing it on the sides. And I've used this paint pen on some of my in the hoop projects. So it's not, brand new. This is looking great as well. Maybe this is something that you might prefer. It's taking just a second to give us some really good results. And since we didn't have the issue with the gap between the 2 layers when we adhered them in the manner that we did, we don't really need the benefit of that base coat to fill that gap. Okay, so this one's done. That looks great too. Okay, so that's a good option for you. So I would say, do what you like, but I really do think something needs to be done, because you don't want it to be, you want it to look like a seamless leather back tag. There you have it. One step with that one.
Well, what do you think? We did it. We made leather bag tags, and they turned out really, really good. I wouldn't hesitate to buy these. If I saw these in an Etsy shop, I'd buy them. I think they're great. Some of the, they're kind of are going to take a little bit of your time, but not so much that they're intrusive to your production schedule. It's also a great time to take advantage of those days where we just really can't stand to sew another thing. The thought of a seam ripper drives us bonkers. This is a way to still be productive without wasting your time and your resources. I would love to see how you use these. If you could leave a description down below of where I can find your project, I will do my best to follow and to go over and take a look. If you're in one of the groups that I'm in, it's easy to find me. You can just tag me in there. And if you have kind, constructive comments and criticism, please let me know. I really want to do this to benefit you. So if you have something here that worked or didn't work, something you'd like me to do more of or less of, or if you have ideas for future tutorials that you would like me to go over, let me know. I will tell you that I'm looking at making an interior bag tag next. So we'll be printing those out, and then those will be applied to like the lining of our projects. One more tag video, and then I think I'm done with tags for a little bit. All right, I'll be seeing you soon. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.